Adam is muted. Adam's muted to start the pod. So I'll start the intro, calling out he's gonna say Matt Gannon, Jers. Adam's back, unmuted. Take it away.
Matt Gannon, Jers, we are back. Way to step in there. Way to help me out. I was muted to start the pod. I'm in a different spot. We move around so much. We're in different spots doing the pod. It throws you off. But
Throws you off.
Jers, the player championship, we don't have a winner. We do not know currently who has won the players championship. By the time people are listening to this, they probably will know who's won the players championship. Playoff between Rory McIlroy and JJ Spawn. Who is going to win the playoff? I believe Rory's around a minus 180 for the 3-hole aggregate.
I think I'll go with JJ. Like I'm gonna run out JJ, short course TPC, now Bermuda specialist, I guess, after the Cognizant and now this week. I mixed with JJ at the Sony. He didn't have much guts, but he's showing some gumption and grit thus far through these last 72 holes. The dude's been mixing since day one. So shout out JJ for mixing with Rory. Rory, I'll say it right now, does not have his best stuff, and he did not have his best stuff when we watched him during the week. And as you watch this event, you probably saw Rory hit a ton of squirrely shots, and it's just a testament to who he's going up against, and two, his just resilience and overall quality as a golfer for him to be in this spot while clearly not have anything close to his best golf.
Yeah, I tweeted this earlier today. Well, during the delay, if Rory wins, I think it'll be close with when he won at Bay Hill. Maybe he's just a Bermuda man, but the off the tee number is likely going to be the lowest number that he's ever won an event with. Obviously, we know Rory, when he wins, he's usually gaining 3, 4, 5, 6 strokes off of the tee. Not doing that this week. And to your point, that's what we saw from him out there during practice. A lot of right misses. The wedges not totally dialed in. We saw some of those wedge misses just today in the final round. That wedge on 7
misses both ways too. He had some. We saw him pull some into the water, into the sand, and they're both coming into fruition. He's missing both ways off the tee. So shout out Rory. Like, impressive stuff.
I think too, looking at like it's hard to do a pod when we don't know who the winner of the tournament is. So we usually, like, if Rory loses tomorrow, we could fire off so many Rory hot takes that he couldn't close the door. But if Rory wins, then obviously we can't do that. But I really do think it's been a weird players championship. Like, if I could just sum up the vibes, weird stuff, weird leaderboard. No one ever really out of it. No one really ever clearly the favorite to win it. I think I looked during the delay. Rory, I believe, was around minus 200, go minus 250, coming back out onto the course. I assume that went much further after he got the 3-shot lead with that birdie on 12. And then JJ came out and made a mess when him and Bud Cauley were simultaneously hitting there on 11.
I was confused by that. What happened? Because I turned it on like a minute late. What entirely happened with that?
Bud was away by a couple yards, Bones was saying. And then Bud was hitting, and Bud like thinned one over the back into the bunker. JJ hit at the same time, and they didn't even show, like, when they came back, because they'd went and shown maybe Rory's putt or somebody else's shot. And then JJ was just like marking his ball on the green, and Bones was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on out here. They're just hitting simultaneously. But Rory, obviously, I think it's not the exact same as Colin last week, but pretty similar. 3-shot lead, 5 or 6 holes to go. I thought it was curtains barring something crazy, and then nothing crazy really happened. He just didn't take advantage of some of those short putts on 15, 16, and that bad drive on 14.
Yeah, I know we're going to go down the leaderboard a little bit, but I also, like, while we're doing it, I want to, like, post an overarching segment. If you had one of these guys, who were you most mad, like, didn't come through? Because every single one of them had a real chance to win, and for different reasons. I could see you having any single one from T1 all the way down to like T6, T10 that had a chance down the stretch, like tilting, that you didn't have a chance to win on 18 or on 70.
That's actually a fun bit. And since we don't actually know who is going to be lifting the trophy tomorrow, let's just start from the top. If you had Rory, you're tilting. You still feel good because you're going into the playoff with the heavy favorite. Obviously, 16 sets up perfectly theoretically for Rory. Obviously, he didn't play very good in regulation, but 3-shot lead over JJ Spawn, you're tilting, I think, if you're Rory back.
Yeah, you're tilting, and it's just a massive roller coaster because you're on Rory. His shot on 6 today, I thought that was going to be a penalty. The way he just sliced it into the trees, I thought that was going to hit the cart path and go OB. And then he had multiple shots he started in the back 9, hooked it on 10. Another shot on 14, way right. If he was, I know he made bogey, but that could have been worse. There was just so many chances where Rory, I was like, he's 1 second away from imploding, and then he'd have a great shot. It was just like, what is going on right now? So
yeah, I mean, I think if he goes on to win, the 2 slices that he hit out of the pine that set up the birdie on 18 on Thursday, and then set up a easy par on 6 today. Basically the same shot, like hard slices out of the trees. The one on Thursday with the water on the other side. I don't think you're allowed to do this. I think you have to keep the same. I know you have to keep the same clubs that you played regulation with. But if you didn't, I could see Rory showing up with an entire new bag of clubs tomorrow for the playoff.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised because that's just something he would do. He did it last week. So yeah. Absurd stuff from Rory. I mean, you got to tilt if you're on Rory just based on the guys you're going up against, like more than anything. Like it's Rory McIlroy versus all of these guys. Come on.
We talk about the Harry Rory thing all the time. And one of my favorite things of watching Rory like in the mix on a Sunday is when he hits some terrible shot or like it misses his number by infinity or like nukes it over the green or something bad happens. And he like turns to Harry with like what are we doing there? And Harry's just like, you got it, man. Nothing to worry about over here. Everything's fine. Like
he knows not to question like anything. He's like, yep, like this is just me.
He knows it's all on him, and Harry's there for merely vibes. And it's like, we'll see, because I so badly all the time just want to shit on Harry. And we've talked about this before of like, why wouldn't Rory want the best caddy that he could possibly get himself? But if he wins Pebble and the Players and he mixes in all these majors, like it's also hard to argue with. The vibes must be where he wants the vibes. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that tomorrow. Spawn. BK's on him. Shout out BK. Good luck tomorrow.
Shout out BK.
Listen to this afterwards. Hopefully it went your way, BK. I don't really think anyone on Spawn could be tilting. This is beyond.
No, he's playing great golf. Like yeah, you didn't go into his the week with a Spawn ticket thinking he'd be in a playoff to win on Monday morning, and you take that 10 times out of 10. So Spawn is I think Spawn is playing some of the best golf out of anyone on this leaderboard. He's being super consistent, flushing irons, flushing fairways, and making some putts when he needs to. The lag putts have been tough today, but I mean, I don't think you can complain Spawn's effort this week, which is more than you could ask for.
Yeah, I wrote this up before the week, and we talked about it on the Boots pod. Like, to win at Sawgrass, just be the best tee to green player on the week. That's usually going to get the job done for you. And right now, JJ is first tee to green. So if he goes on to win, he fits the profile of the guys who win. Now, he's done it in a different way. Okay off the tee, going to gain about 2 strokes off the tee. Great on approach. And then he's gaining 4 around the green. So to get to that tee to green number, he's doing it around the green. Hasn't made many putts, but we've talked about, again, you lead the field tee to green at Sawgrass, you're probably going to win. That to me would be why. Well, I guess it doesn't matter in a 3-hole playoff. But at the end of the day, the winner of Sawgrass leads tee to green. So if you wanted to have a reason to bet the plus number tomorrow on JJ in the playoff, I think that'd be justification for that. I will say, the only time I saw JJ Spawn out at Sawgrass this week at Boots was on Wednesday on the putting green. Wyndham Clark was like talking hella shit to him about something. I don't know what it was. They must have like had a match or something like that. And JJ was like, he kind of looked genuinely annoyed by like Wyndham talking shit to him. So I'm not saying that Wyndham inspired JJ to this performance. Wyndham withdrew from the tournament and JJ's in the playoff. But that was the only experience that we had with JJ on the week versus Rory. Like we said, we saw Rory. He didn't look good. He wasn't strapping off the tee. And if you want to bet Rory, you want to see him strapping off of the tee. That's not what we saw. He's not strapping off of the tee. He's only hit 48% of the fairways. To me, it's just combination of dog. We've talked a reasonable amount of shit about Rory. We also have him high in the dog rankings. I don't consider him a low dog player, especially outside of the majors. Like, he's got a shit ton of PGA Tour victories. but that was all we saw from Spawn. You didn't see it. You didn't see him.
No, I mean, we were out there for like almost 15, 20 hours, and we saw Spawn on the putting green. We would, if we had a better report on him, we would have included it. But going back to Rory, like we saw Rory playing some objectively poor tee to green golf, and not that he's playing poor tee to green golf this week, but he's not hitting the fairways and being uber consistent. Like if he was that this week, he'd be winning by maybe 10 right now. So it just goes to show.
Yeah, if he was nuking off the tee, hitting fairways, and generationally driving like he normally does, this would be the easiest Players Championship victory probably in the history of the Players Championship.
Yeah, because going into the week, my two, like we talked about, I was Rory and Ludwig. Those are my two guys. I was going with from the top of the board. Ludwig obviously didn't get there, and Rory we didn't see good things from. So I was kicking myself a little bit, like today and yesterday not being on Rory. Then I'm like, looking at him now, looking at him from what we saw, they both check out. Like he's not striping off the tee. He's not doing what Rory normally does. He's kind of getting away with it and has a favorable leaderboard. So we can move on from those guys whenever you're.
Yeah, and I think that one other thing I'll add to Rory is if he goes on to be lifting the Players Championship again tomorrow is he's a good putter. He's been putting well for a long time now. Like at the end of the day, of the top players in the world, Rory is the best of putter of that 5, 6, 7 guys who you could consider kind of at the top of the game right now. He rolls them smoothly. He always has
maybe
good
not in the clutch though.
Yeah, that one on 18.
18.
I thought he missed.
I mean, 18 and 15 too. Like, come on, dude. Come on.
Yeah, he's not a clutch putter, but over 72 holes,
right. He's a good. Yeah, yeah. I mean, he has his. And like I remember years back, like, everyone used to say like, "Oh, Rory's such a bad. If Rory could putt, he'd be an elite player." Like Rory's never been a bad putter. He's never been a bad putter. He's just lost it at some clutch moments.
Tom Hoagie, you can't be tilting that. Good comeback from Tom. No. Didn't make the putt on 18. I never really
good report on him this week.
Yeah, Tom was strapping in the practice rounds. Obviously, Tom has won the Players Championship before. Was looking to get a second victory out there. Didn't quite work out.
He needed revenge after JT tied his course record. So he's like, all right, I'm going to go win this on Sunday.
Yeah.
You're almost there.
He needs some inspiration for sure. Akshay, tilt for sure. We saw Akshay very briefly, but we had a rule. We were looking for him on Wednesday. We were out there. We were interested in Akshay. We're Akshay guys. I hit him at Valero. Speaking of, mark down Valero as
Valero comp.
Yeah, it's Saw going forward because there's a lot of Valero going on the leaderboard there.
And Valero at the yard. Remember Valero at the yard, the hole that we hit, the par 3?
Yes.
So much Valero.
Right next to Sawgrass is a course called the Yard, which is sick that we played in there. Is a Valero replica hole, the most dangerous hole in golf. Is it 15?
Talking about it with Kohler today.
15
I forget what it is.
I think it's 15 at TPC San Antonio. It has the bunker in the middle of the green, but usually on the weekend it's downwind, and they put the pin on the left or right side of the bunker. And if you're sitting behind the green, it's like.
More than just sitting behind the green, people sit objectively on the green. I don't know why they let people go so close to the green. It is a dangerous situation out at the Valero. So be alert if you're out in San Antonio the next few weeks.
Yeah, the Valero comp this way, and then I think we've got Valero coming up obviously in a couple of weeks. The reverse Valero comp. So anybody who played good at Sawgrass this week, if they're in Valero, keep your eyes on them. But Akshay, what we were looking for him. So on Wednesday we're looking for him.
The rule, yeah.
Before we saw him, we said if we see Akshay in the left rough or the left trees, we're not betting him. We're not interested. We're giving him a bad report. We see him in the left trees on 15. We say we're out. Then he was strapping there for a while. Ultimately, though, obviously he missed some putts today. What held him back was the left miss off of the tee.
Left miss.
The big
fade. A few too many. Yeah. He hit the ball really well. Showed some. I mean, I need to clap for Akshay because obviously big moment over the weekend. He's one of the leaders going into the weekend. Never really been there in a tournament this big. Horrible start after a birdie on 1. And then he could have easily went down in the dumps with Minwoo, showed some insane grit to fight back on Saturday, be in it on objectively the 72nd hole today, 71st hole maybe. But shout out Akshay, just a few too many left misses that really kind of altered his tournament. But he did what he had to do to get himself in position on the greens. And the broomstick only, I just so hard to trust under the gun with anyone, whether that's Zalatoris, Glover, Akshay. when the pulls come too easily, and we saw Akshay just when it's flowing, and he's we talked about Akshay lag putting over the summer a lot. Yeah. Great lag putter, but those shorties with the broomstick under the gun, they're not great. They're not great.
Yeah, I think he's up there with, of the four we've talked about so far, he'd be up there with Rory in the tiltometer, if we want to call it that. Glove, I don't think we need to really talk about Glove. Shout out Glove, though. Generational striper, chipped in like 100 times on Saturday to stay in the mix. He then kind of disappeared for most of Sunday. He got dropped from the Cove, and then all of a sudden he was striping coming down the stretch. I'm a Glove guy. I like to see Glove in the mix. Anything you want to say about Glove? The tilt on?
No,
I mean, he was on Glove, but I don't think you can be tilting with his effort.
No, he played some good golf. He is just a generational drawsman. That finish on Saturday from Glove was hilarious, like the double eagle double. But he was there till the last few holes. So just old man still has it. So shout out Glove. Good week.
Danny Walker, generational stripes. He missed.
So
I watched him because he barely got into the field. We saw him out there. I didn't know he wasn't in the field when we saw him. I thought he was in the tournament when we saw him out there. He, because of that, got added into the featured group with I think it was Spieth and somebody else.
Spieth and Wyndham.
Okay, he was with
J-Day was sick.
J-Day was sick. I faded J-Day and Hideki successfully. Those were my write-ups on the fades. I was happy about that.
That's a big win. I mean, you knew J-Day was going to get sick.
Yeah, I sensed some sickness from him for sure. But I think it was Thursday when I was watching the feature group. Danny Walker like 4-putted from like 2 feet. He might have won if he didn't do that. He also missed a short putt on 18 on Friday. He missed some short putts today. But what a performance from Danny Walk. He was striping. I think he was striping.
No, he was striping.
Well, I know he was striping this week.
Second off the tee. Going in.
I was saying like I had seen him just in the stats over the course of the year striping off the tee. And I think we need to keep our eyes. It's got to be somewhere where you don't need to make putts to win, which honestly, that's very few places. But shout out Danny Walks. I don't think anyone was on him, so he couldn't be in the tiltometer. Corey Connors. I'm sure people were on Corey Connors. We talked about what we saw from Corey in the practice rounds. He had won the tournament on Thursday. Or not on Thursday.
He won the tournament Tuesday.
Yeah, on Tuesday. On Tuesday. He had won the tournament. Go back and listen to what happened with his caddy on Tuesday from the Pine Straw. Got in his head. It was enough to rattle him on Thursday. He didn't have the best round on Thursday, but then once he was able to clear his mind from that unfortunate incident, he played great. He striped it off the tee. He was right there, but it was classic Corey Connors performance. If you were on Corey Connors,
I don't think he could have shot any lower. I think this is the absolute lowest Corey Connors should have shot. Highest. Like Corey Connors could have easily shot -19 this week. I'm not even kidding. Like this was the worst he could have played. Is what I'm getting at. Shout out Corey Connors, absolute striper. Might be what would you say -250 at the Valero?
At Valero, yeah, somewhere between -200 and -400 probably.
Okay,
at Valero. Bud Colley. Shout out, Bud. We probably our best report of the week from a long shot who ended up playing great was Bud. We saw Bud out there both Tuesday and Wednesday playing with JT and Max. Max off the P. His career is probably over. Let's just talk about Max briefly, actually. We need to find the May of last year, I think, when I declared his career in jeopardy because the stats were trending in the bad direction. His quotes concerning stuff.
Yeah, if you're a listener, a longtime listener, and you remember any time frame of when Adam brought up these Max stats, because I didn't. This was all Adam brought it up when Max started to just slightly decline with the off the tee stuff. Let us know in the comments because maybe one of the best calls in Vince Tarik's history, Max's career going into the dumpsters, which it is. So tough scene for Max, but keep going. Bud.
So he was playing with Bud. Bud was striping generationally out there. Yeah. We liked what we saw from Bud. You were talking him up like you were thinking about betting him, and I was kind of like, Bud has zero chance of actually winning, but I agree with you that he's strapping out here.
Yeah,
which
is true.
Kind of checked out in the end. But we gave his caddy one of the fresh Vince Eric shirts out there. I think he was one of 3 caddies to receive a shirt. And then Bud Cauley was 1 shot off the lead for the first time since 2013. Do you think that was what drove that to fruition?
Truthful, it's a true who could say situation, because we really don't know, because the powers of the Vince Eric shirt go a long way, but Bud has been playing good golf for the last few weeks. I've been hearing great things about his game, and what a spot for him to really break through. Well, not break through, but just burst onto the scene and vault his season, both financially, both points wise. Great for Bud, great for the team. Like I really think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna lead to any wins, maybe not yet, but just free balling, because Bud came into this year off of some not knowing where his future is going to be, truthfully, because he obviously got in the car accident, medicals, stuff like that. So shout out, Bud. I think this is going to be a really big confidence boost for a guy who was one time a striper, more consistent player than he has been the last year and a half.
Solo 9th, the first guy that we were both on, so we can assess the tiltometer on him. The par man, generational par maker. He defines the par mindset. You go look at the scorecard. It tells you what to shoot on each hole, Jers. It's not a complicated game. There's not much to it. It tells you what to shoot on each hole, and no man looks at that number and commits himself to it harder than Mr. Robert McIntyre, Mr. Bobby Mack, vintage Bobby Mack performance. When you bet Bobby Mack, and I've bet Bobby Mack 3 times this year, I bet him at Waste, I bet him at Bay Hill, and I bet him this week. He has finished T6. He has finished T11. He was solo 9th this week. And every time it's the exact same thing. It's like a 3-under opening round without many mistakes, but not a lot of birdies. And then slowly but surely, day by day, Bobby Mack making pars and working his way up. And then lo and behold, he's on 18T with like an outside chance of getting into the mix there. I'm not going to say I'm tilting, but I do wish Bob would turn just ever so slightly the par mindset to the birdie mindset, just a tad more aggression from Bob.
He knew what he needed to do the last few holes, because there were some birdies and bogeys in there, which is, who knows what Bob can become if he has that mindset like he did in the last few holes, because it was obviously some variance there. Shout out Bob though. He has so much heart. He wants it so bad. And that's what I want in an outright sweat. Like, I want someone who I know actively is trying so hard, because these guys, if they're not gonna like be in the lead, they want to get a good finish, yeah, but like if they have a top 10, they're not gonna go balls to the wall to try to win when they're on the outside looking in. Crazier things have happened, and I want my guys to have that mindset, and Bob has that for sure. He wanted it so bad, and when he needed to stuff one so bad on 17, all he knows is middle of the green. That's just what he knows. He sees the middle of the green. He sees I have to make a 3 on this hole, and luckily he got one to fall in. But that shot was just dead center of the green, because that's Bob.
He was aiming at the pin, but it's just like his body doesn't let him. He's going to hit it to 20 feet. He's going to make his pars. It's a par mentality. That's why he mixes in national opens. Like I said, even when they're Birdie Fest national opens, he knows par mindset, commits himself to that. But to your point, I've bet Bob in those 3 events. He's played solidly in all of them. I've never regretted betting Bob, ever, because I know he's bringing the gumption. He's bringing the dog. I will be committing myself to betting Bob any chance that I get. 50 to 1 or above on Bob is one of the easiest clicks right now for me. Obviously, it hasn't come home yet.
Striping.
He's finishing. He's tee to green merchant. Great player. Never quite makes enough putts.
What are his odds this week? He's playing Singapore.
He's playing the Sing. Jesper Svenny, defending champ. Is Jesper playing? That's what we really need to know. Is Jesper flying over to defend? We were going to ask him.
I'm not sure. I just saw a tweet that he it was actually in Mike Kim's Q&A. It was like someone replied, "What are your thoughts on Bob Mack committing to the Singapore next week, like travel logistics?" And Mike Kim was like, questionable decision, but I don't. So it could be fake, but someone commented, I don't know who's in the weeds of Bob Mack's travel schedule, but shout out that person. And yeah, he's playing Singapore, so that's our Singapore preview.
Colin finished T10. Apparently, Colin.
Unserious.
I know that there were probably people out there, listeners of the pod, people getting ready with some cold takes exposed on Colin. Never once did I think Colin was going to win the tournament whatsoever. When they sent Woody, I texted you this. When Colin was slow making some birdies today, and they sent Woody out there when he was like on 13, putting to maybe get to -8, I think it was the most unserious announcer like assignment to a guy who they think is mixing that I've ever seen. Colin is so deeply unserious as a player, and we see it in the practice rounds, the way he just goes about his business. Like, and now he's calling out the media. He's the like, I'm so out on Colin. I used to like Colin. I used to be a Colin guy. I didn't plan on coming on here and getting like animated about Colin, but I'm just good with the whole thing. I don't want to bet him below 20-1. I don't really want to watch him golf. I don't really want to see him in the practice rounds. Like, I'm just good. I'm just good with Colin.
Yeah, definitely a tough scene. And when he was in the mix on Friday, he gained like 3 strokes around the green, ended up gaining only 0.5 around the green in the entire event. So it was a massive outlier short game display, but he ended up hitting the ball pretty well. He striped it on approach, gained almost 4 today, gained 8 total on the week, which is a good, I guess, bounce back. But like he gained like 11 strokes ball striking, which looks great on paper, but what does it mean? I'm becoming less and less of like a stat guy as the weeks go by, and more of like a vibes guy. What does it all mean? Because I mean, that the perfect example of it is Tommy Fleetwood. It's all for what? It's all for what? Like, Colin really had no chance this week, and it's a tough scene. I agree with you.
I agree too on the stats, all the green. We talked about this before on the pod. Like, outside, and the next guy we're going to talk about fits into this perfectly, but outside of Scottie and Rory, we've talked about this before, and Xander, but Xander's not obviously at his peak level right now. He's not below 20-1 in the odds. Going to the top of the board, outside again of Scottie and Rory, because they've actually proven the ability to win at these numbers that they're at. Every card you see, has like 3 guys below 30-1 every single time. It's just not worth it. Like, you'd be better off loading up on 20 guys down the board to get some guys into the mix down the board, because to your point, who outside of Rory and Scottie and Xander, when he's in form, has proven in any way, shape, or form to be show dog, show consistency,
Zero.
be trustworthy down the stretch? None of them.
Yeah, no, you're right. 0 of them. So why would you do it?
And the next guy, who we were both on as well, Patrick Cantlay, would fall into that bucket. At least he had drifted to 40-1.
Yeah,
this week.
We really
saw pretty
upset.
Good things from him out there. Like, I'd rather bet, again, none of these guys, but Cantlay at 40 is at least not Cantlay at 20 like he's been many times in the past. I thought he came out 2 under through 4, draining putts from long range, rolling the rock nicely, had the Ryder Cup kind of I thought we were seeing the look in the eyes of Pat when he starts rolling them in. I texted you. I said, give me 18 greens in regulation, because even 90 footers, because I think Pat's going to be rolling them in. The second that it looks like he's got it figured out, he's standing on the 7th tee. Woody's out there as well. Woody's like, Patrick looks so comfortable. This is the easiest tee shot that 7 could possibly be.
Literally, he said that. Yeah.
Yeah. He's hitting 3 wood, slice into the bunker, double bogey, tournament over. How many, you were keeping track? What was the ballpark number of putts inside 5 feet that Pat missed this week?
Pat missed 4 inside of 5 feet. My guys in total missed a lot more, but Pat himself missed 4 inside of 5 feet, and they're all on the weekend. I mean, that wouldn't have been enough to win, but he did make 5 birdies today, starting at 7 under. That would have been enough to get to 7 under. 12 under. Tough showing of dog from Pat, but he just was not doing anything consistently. Even when he was striping fairways, he would mess up somewhere else. So, and even when he was getting on runs of birdies, he would then miss fairways and then get into trouble. So, tough scene from Pat.
The 2 guys I bet from the top of the board were first and second this week in greens and regulation. I would have been very excited. I had been very excited if you had told me before the week that Russ Henley and Pat Cantlay were going to be first and second in greens and regulation on the week, and neither of them come anywhere close to winning. So
I mean, like, that's what we're looking for, and those are good bets. Like, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I just clicked it. But like, yeah, you go to Boots, my first Boots of the year. You're looking for guys who are striping, who are going to hit a lot of greens at a place where you think that'll do you good, and they did. But like, how many times. I mean, Henley hit 78% of greens. Cantlay hit 75%. You have to go down to JJ hit 71, and Rory has only hit. Where's Rory? Where is Rory here? Hold on a second.
Rory is in greens and regulation. He is T39. He's at 45 of 72.
So
he's putting like crazy.
Tough scene there for me. But last guy, or a few more guys before we move on here to Live, because the real winner for me this week of the Players' Championship was Joaquin Niemann. Joaquin Niemann would have won the Players' Championship this week by 25 shots. I know it's like people want to shit on Joaco from the majors. We've seen it. We've gone to the practice rounds. We've seen the generational striping. No player is a better golfer and plays worse in the majors than Joaquin Niemann.
That is true.
Agree with that. But Joaquin Niemann would have won the Players' Championship by a record margin this week. I am giving, actually, since we don't know who's won the Players' Championship yet this week, I'm giving it to Joaco.
I think that's fair because it's technically we don't have a winner. We don't have someone holding gold medal right now. I am with you. Joaco is in the prime of his career right now. What is his best major finish? You can say he wins all four. That's not off the table. Where is his best major finish, and what is that finish?
Joaco, his best major finish this year?
Yeah. He can make a mockery at Ports.
I think he wins Quail by double digits. 10 shot victory Quail over Rory. Like it's Rory and Joaco. Rory and Joaco are tied going into the final round. They're in the final group. It's Joaco and Rory, and Joaco
and then Sungjae beneath them too.
Sungjae backdoor T3. I hope Willy is. I'm concerned. When Sungjae went multiple times with water on 17, I texted you. Hopefully Willy is okay, because it's been a tough scene with Sungjae lately. I don't know how we ended up on Joaco, but I want to continue talking about Joaco because I genuinely think.
Yeah, we're on to Live now.
Yeah, I don't know how. I was about to talk about Smalley, but I'd rather not talk about Smalley. I will quickly talk about Smalley. I'll say no beef. Zero beef with what Smalley did. Like, he played amazing on Saturday to stay in the mix. Generational short game performance, maybe the greatest ever. No beef. If you came on here expecting me to have beef with Smalley, I know what I'm signing up for. I'm not getting my hopes up with Smalley in the mix. Yeah. As someone who wasn't on Smalley but was, supporting Smalley, did you have any Smalley takes?
Yeah, I mean, going into the week, you and I both wrote up Smalley. I wrote T40. I think you wrote T20 or something. Both every penny generational wealth opportunities, and not even a sweat. Alex Smalley, if you got a top 40, well beyond plus money, cashed in it before it even teed off. So, I mean, we both knew. We talked about it on Friday. Smalley's game plan is he needs to fall back a little bit on Sunday, post a number, or on Saturday, post a number on Sunday, and accidentally win. He could not outlast anyone. He could not outlast in a group with Rory McIlroy. Impossible for Alex Smalley. You guys got a bad draw on the weekend, and we'll blame it on that. But Smalley just flushed. Smalley had a great short game. Smalley did his thing. That was fine performance from Smalley. Just great call on you.
Okay, back to Joaco.
Back to Liv Singh.
Back to Liv Singh, because Joaco, I know a lot of people don't watch Liv. I know it's fun to talk shit about Liv. We talk shit about Liv when it's right to talk shit about Liv, and there's plenty of times to do that. Joaco is truly generational. I texted you this week. He may already be one of the top 5 players of all time. This guy is a joke. He hits it. It's honestly beyond belief how good of a player he is. And I know it's easy to say, like, oh, he's just gone over to Liv, and like the Liv guys don't care, and like he's winning all these events and he's not playing good in the majors. I agree. He hasn't played to the level that he should in the majors. But even before he went to Liv, when he was a super young, early 20s player on the PGA Tour, he was winning events. He won the military tribute back at the Greenbrier.
T3. They don't hand those out. They do not hand those out.
Want to know who else won that? Xander. Two-time PGA Tour. Two-time major.
Bryson won there.
Yeah, it's
on Liv.
On Liv. Brooks won there on Liv as well.
Bryson and okay. That wasn't a joke then. They really don't hand those out. That is a big tournament.
No, and Joaco just won in Singapore, where Brooks has won as well. And Brooks played pretty good. And he
Champions dinner next year is going to be electric.
Cooch, Brooks, and Joaco. But T3 at the BMW, he almost won Century. He almost against Harris English. He played the Rocket Mortgage bogey free and should have won, but CD chipped in for the bunker and won there. He wins the Genesis. He was T3 at Memorial, and now he's gone to Live. And every time he plays well and he's in the mix, he wins. And he drives the ball at a level beyond belief.
A string is like an understatement. Every shot.
To me, nothing says you're more of just a pure hater and not a ball knower, and you just like to talk shit if you're talking bad about Joaco. I'm 1000% in on Joaco. End of rant.
We watch the golf. I go to Tin Roof Delray to watch the golf. And Joaco does his thing. And Joaco, when he's clicking, has like saying a guy has every single shot. There's like 4 guys in the world who have every single shot. It's Joaco, Cam Davis, Jordan Spieth.
Scottie might not have every shot left. He might not have every shot anymore.
Yeah, that's a different podcast. Yeah. Joaco has every single shot. And when he's going, hits it high, hits it low. He just needs to do we can't give him all his flowers because he has to do it. And you're more in than I am. I'm not betting him these majors. I don't think it's going to happen in these majors, but I do think he will have his first top 10. I'll give you that. I think he's in the prime of his career right now. I think the major schedule sets up for him nice, and I think his first top 10 is coming.
I will be betting him at the majors. I think I'll probably be betting him. I think I'll probably.
Does he have the best shot in Boots history, or is like top 3 for sure? Because I think someone has one better than you.
His tee shot at Troon, I think, is the best tee shot in Boots history, with Patrick Fishburne off a 10 this week. That's the second best. But he's a comically good golfer. Like, he is a beyond belief talent. I liked what I heard from him this week too, is he's not shying away from it. He said, I know I haven't played good enough in the majors. He also said, I know for a fact I'm winning a major. His mind is in the right place. He said being out here playing against the Brooks and the DJs and the Brysons of the world, the Cam Smiths of the world, has given him the confidence. He also won Troon, but got ejected by the postage stamp. That was when he was going to win you were on him, I think, that week.
No, I was not on Joaco, but I remember. Dude, you know that. I wasn't on a Live guy last year. Come on.
Even though the Live, will you be on Live guy at the major this year? Even though they've won each of the last 2 years, a Live guy has won a major.
Yeah, no. I'll wait till they join into the PGA Tour.
I don't think they're coming back unless the tours combine. Like, I think I've said this before. The guys are in their contracts and they're coming back. I'm so out on that is actually happening. I think I do think the tours will come back together and they'll come back to the PGA Tour, but I'm out on the hype that the Brooks is allegedly. Yeah. I don't think there's anything to that. But anyways, end of the Joaco rant. I just want to plant my flag hard in on Joaco. I just can't. We watch golf. We watch too much golf. We watch way too much golf, and I just can't see what I'm seeing and not be so in. And I think at the end of the day, if you really want to like get into the weeds on why he hasn't played quite good enough in the majors, it's because of his short game, his around the green, his putting is inconsistent. I think it's improving, and I think Quail Hollow, where you can just absolutely murder the ball off the tee and have a huge advantage, is going to set up great for him. I don't think he can win the Masters without having mixed really in a major before, but I do think he will play well. And the ultimate question, the ultimate hot take is whose career from this point forward in the majors between Ludwig and Joaco do you take? And I'm 100% behind Joaco. And I would ask people, I would say, which tournaments has Ludwig won? The RSM and the Genesis. What tournaments has Joaco won? The Military Tribute and the Genesis. So what is they're 26 years old. I'm in on Joaco. Who do you want between Joaco and Ludwig?
Yeah, I mean, obviously different courses, but that doesn't still a Genesis, big event. I'm going to take Ludwig for sure. I'm going to go with Ludwig just because I think, they're both, Ludwig's younger, one, and I don't think that's a big reason as to why. I just think there might be more ceiling and more wins. It's not a strong take. I'm just going to take the other side. So I'll take my PGA Tour alliances.
that's something to monitor.
I've been Team Lud through and through.
Yeah, you're a Lud loyalist. He's 11 months younger than Joaco. We're planting our flags right now. Career major records from here on out.
We should do it this year. We should track it. Like, we should have a side bet this year. Like, major money.
I would year. I still might go with Ludwig. I think Joaco's winning.
You said you're all the way in this year.
I'm all the way in forever. I'm all the way in for the rest of time.
Oh, I think I'm in time too.
He needs like a year. He needs like a year to.
How many more years is he going to get? He's been in the majors forever.
He's 26 years old. Ludwig is I don't know. Never mind. Sure. Fuck it. Let's do Ludwig versus Joaco. Money in the majors this year, assuming that Joaco gets to play in all 4 majors.
Yeah. It would avoid on the ones he's not in for sure. I'm down.
Okay. We'll take the average of whatever ones he gets into, but I think because he's first in live right now, he's going to get into the majors. But that was long-winded. I had to give Joaco his due. I'm tired of the Joaco hate. He is a nice guy who fucks at golf, and I'm tired of the Joaco hate. I'm all in on Joaco. Scottie, he came up, so let's talk about Scottie briefly. Also, we're 41 minutes in. We haven't done like and subscribe, so if you've listened to this long, we would really appreciate a like and subscribe.
Really appreciate it.
Jers has Boots this week. One-day Boots this week. It's just going to be Tuesday Boots because Jers has the TGL playoffs, his PGA Tour alliances that he was just mentioning. He's got to get there. Get the boots on the ground at TGL. We'll have boots at Valspar. $9.99 for the weekly, $34.99 for the monthly. We appreciate everybody who supports the content, who supports the site, who supports the podcast. We really appreciate it. But Scottie Scheffler, I thought he was going to win the tournament. I loved what I saw from Scottie out there in the practice rounds. It was vintage Scottie in that it started to go against him, and no one feels more wronged. No one is more surprised. No one can't believe it more when it's not going his way than Scottie. What did you think about Scottie's effort out there this week? And do you have any opinions on if it has any impact on him going into the major season? Because this might be, we'll see him in Houston, I would assume, but we won't see many more reps from Scottie before he gets to Augusta to defend his title.
All right, I will say, Bud Cauley and Scottie have played in 2 events this year. Bud Cauley has won both times, Waste and the Players. So something to monitor. Definitely a little bit of a concern from Scottie. He just doesn't look as sharp tee to green the last week and a half because he looked better early on, like in the California event, at least tee to green. I mean, he hit the ball fine, but like we're used to seeing 4 off the tee from Scottie. Like it was 2.8 and 4. I don't want to say concern because it wasn't like it's like red flags, but it's odd. But this whole week was odd, so I don't want to really put all my eggs in one basket. I think we can just let him rock for a little bit, see what's good come the next few weeks. But definitely some like we could perk up a little bit and see what's going on. But I don't want to raise any flags yet.
Okay, I agree, and I saw there was some hate out there on Scottie for like being kind of whiny, and yes, he is whiny. I love it. I love to watch Scottie. We've said this many times. When it's going against Scottie, he's baffled. It's like when the robot is broken, he doesn't know what to do. It's a joy to watch when it's going good for Scottie or bad for Scottie. I love all things Scottie. It's always interesting. It's always intriguing to see what takes place when Scottie's out there. But overall, a disappointing performance. He was terrible scrambling this week. That one of the stats ultimately that looks really bad for him. I think Cantlay might have been last in the field scrambling. Looking at the numbers right now.
I can't believe Fox and Sky this week.
Of guys who made the cut, Pat was 69th. The only guys Pat scrambled better than were generationally bad short games players, Trey Mullinax, Rico Hoey, and Carson Young. That's unacceptable from Pat. Pat's game is around the green. He's known as that. That is frustrating to see.
Extremely tough.
But yeah, great Players Championship. We don't know who's going to win. We'll find out tomorrow if Rory picks up his second. If he does, do you think this has any impact on his Masters? Do you have any updated takes on him in the major season? Anything to add about Rory going forward?
Xander shot 81 today.
Who shot 81?
Xander.
But okay, well, let's talk about Xander second. Do you have, because I think he's playing Valspar, so it'll be a perfect transition. But if Rory gets the job done tomorrow, he comes out, he shoots 2 under in the playoff, takes care of JJ Spawn, picks up Pebble and the Players Championship. Would that increase your likelihood of him winning his first green jacket?
I think it would increase the likelihood. I also think it would increase. It'd be maybe the most hyped Rory Masters of the last 10 years, 10, 15 years, I would say. But yeah, I would say, yeah, it increases the likelihood. So, but I think that make him, obviously the price will be a lot cheaper and he'll become more popular going forward. But I do think, and I really do think the 3/4 wedge thing is massive and it's paying dividends because he's hitting some beautiful wedge shots. Some of the best I've ever seen. Xander lost 10 strokes to the field.
I'll take the opposite side. I'll say if Rory wins, it decreases his chance of winning Augusta because he would be turning into a short course merchant.
Right.
And he's too focused on his wedges. You win at Pebble and you win at Saw, and then you go to Big Bad Augusta.
He did not hit the best long irons this week. I mean, he didn't hit, they weren't like concerningly bad, but there was a few long irons that weren't great. Like we saw the one on 16 that was not hit well at all. We saw him hook a bunch of those long irons off the tee this week, fan some right. So yeah, he's definitely grinding the wedges, which is paying dividends, but he had no choice but to grind those wedges. So I do think it's going to help going forward.
What do you think JJ and Rory shoot in the playoff tomorrow? 3-hole aggregate. What is the final scores?
I think it's even par to -1.
I agree. I think Rory. I think they both birdie 16. I think they par 17, and then Rory par JJ bogey on 18. That's my prediction.
I'm gonna say 16 birdies, 17 3-putt JJ, and then 18 pars.
One other thing I was thinking, because I had a brutal Saturday watch, Jers. I was flying from New York to San Francisco on United. They block streaming even when you purchase the Wi-Fi. And so like if I opened the Peacock or the NBC app, they also didn't have live TV. I was able to find like a hacky way around, and I had this like super janky stream going.
How?
Brutal. I just grinded. I have strokes gained dog. I found a way. But like that, I was trying to track on my phone, but then like the stream was so far behind, I didn't want to open up and look at the shot link because it could get thrown off. And then the Wi-Fi was cutting in and out, so sometimes the shot link wasn't even loading. Meanwhile, Alex Smalley is like 40 yards off the green on every single hole, but then I open it back up. He's making par. I'm trying to track Pat. It was a brutal experience. At least it was Saturday, not Sunday. And then I'm out here on the West Coast. I don't know if I have the gumption to wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow and watch the playoff. I think I obviously have to for the content game, but it's been, I really wish they could have finished on time. I wish they could have started at normal time today, but that wasn't what I was going to say. What I was going to say was talk about NBC. Who would you take in the head chair lead announcer between Dan Hicks and Jim Nantz? If you let's say it's a major, you get to choose the broadcasting. Who are you putting at point guard?
Nantz, 1,000%.
I think I'm a Hicks guy now.
Really?
The way he sets
he says a moment ago too much. He says just earlier, a moment ago.
That's fair.
I guess
he does. But I think he knows more about the players and about like what goes on than Nantz does. I think he has more ball.
I could agree with that. Honestly, Kiz gets some slack, but I don't mind Kiz. Like he was good this week. He really was good this week. And I think Smiley is amazing. I want to see him in the booth more often rather than being on the course. But he is good, really good.
Yeah, but yeah, all I wanted to do was shout out NBC because
they heard the hate.
They stepped up. If they could do, I know they can't do that every week because of the contracts. One other thing, I noticed that today Peacock streaming, they were showing playing through. They finally figured out the technology. They did it, Jers. They finally figured out how to do playing through when you're streaming. But yeah, Great Players Championship. Not a Great Players Championship from the performances out there, but from an entertainment standpoint, it was good. The golf was not the highest level, and that's why Joaco Neiman is your Players Champion in 2025. As far as I'm
should concerned. We make that the caption of this video? Joaco Neiman is your Players Champion. That could do numbers. That could do numbers.
That's the YouTube title. Joaco Neiman Players Champion.
Plus Valspar preview.
Plus Valspar
Why
preview.
not?
That's going to upset some people. Some people are probably already upset. Some people really don't like Liv, and that's fine. We're not Liv loyalists by any means. We just like golf, and I can't, again, see what I'm seeing from Joaco generationally striping and not give him this week's Players Championship, because of this week of players who golfed, Joaco Neiman was the best golfer. He wins the Players Championship as far as I'm concerned. Excited to see
two guys who hit Rio Takeda last week. We could say that we love golf. It doesn't matter where it's being.
They don't just give out Rio Takeda winners. I think the LPGA is back Jers this week. DP is obviously back this week, and the Valspar is back this week. Jers, I was looking at the numbers. I was trying to understand what it takes to win at the Valspar. And then I just remembered one simple rule that you've had for a long time. Peter Malnati near the lead. Peter Malnati on the leaderboard. Bad golf course. Peter Malnati won this tournament. Jers. Cam Young choked it. One of the most unserious. I had Mackenzie Hughes last year. He was in the mix. And he imploded down the stretch. What is being an unserious golfer the key to success at Valspar? Sam Burns used to be serious. Now he's unserious. Paul Casey is generationally unserious golfer. I think the key is being unserious. What do you think the keys are at Valspar?
I mean, from being at Innisbrook and like knowing what we know about Innisbrook, it should be a brutal tee to green test that you have to lock in for 72 holes. But like thinking about who's won there, visually, it's one of my least favorite courses to watch on tour. One of my least, even in person, I don't love Innisbrook, but it should be a test of fairways and greens over 72 holes and thick rough and brutal Florida conditions. Like this is one of the most grueling stretches of the year. But like Peter Malnati gaining 6 strokes ball striking out of nowhere, and also gaining 8 strokes putting. Take it all with a grain of salt, is what I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, if you could pick one stat, to me, it's the putter. It's impossible to hit the fairways here. The fairway hit rate is in the toilet. It's impossible to hit the greens. If you can just make a shit ton of putts. I was just looking back. I made it as far back as Burns' first victory. Both Burns victories, Timor and Malnati, had all spiked on Bermuda in one of the lead-in events on Bermuda. Find the guys who have been putting it nice on the Bermuda. If they can at least keep the ball on the planet with their ball striking, that's good enough for me. And I think that is interesting because like when Paul Casey was winning, Paul Casey is one of the worst putters that exists. And he is a generational ball striker, and he was winning here. But since then, Burns kind of turned it into driver putter. Taylor Moore's obviously a driver putter.
Taylor Moore could win this week again. Taylor Moore's looking nice stat-wise.
Well, Malnati will win again because the key to winning Valspar is back-to-back. Casey back-to-back, Burns back-to-back. Moore should have been back-to-back. Malnati won. So I think I'm just going to single bullet Peter.
Why not? I wonder what his odds are this week. Probably like 500 to 1, which is like a massive up price for Peter.
Will he be the longest shot defending champion in the history of golf?
Yeah, maybe Matt Every, players, yeah. Or I mean, API, 350 to 1. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the odds are out. So what is his odds?
I'm pulling them up. I'm pulling them up right now. I pull these up. Just what are you going to be on the lookout for, Boots, out there? Like what you've been there last year, I think. Like what are you going to be on the lookout for?
It's going to be a massive. This is probably going to be the longest Boots day of the year because it's a 1-day Boots. I'm going to probably get to the course by 8 a.m. Tuesday, and I'll stay there as long as I can, as long as the guys are out there golfing. And I'll obviously do the course conditions in the morning, see what we want to see, and then just get as many players as one could possibly get in a day, see who's striping, see who's not striping, see how what they're doing is in relation to what we're looking for in a course, try to answer all the questions in Discord. And the normal Boots routine. The Boots is a roller coaster event that's just like, as we always say, another great data point, analytical point, whatever you want to use it as. So get in the cord, get in the final week of Florida. I think this is 6 of 8 on the road for me. So I'm feeling it, but I'm ready to finish this up.
Yeah, I think if we had to give a grade to Boots, obviously we're out on Rory, so that's a negative. But like we were talking about earlier, he's not generationally striping off the tee, and as far as were concerned when it comes to Boots. Like, I can't bet Rory when I see him not generationally strapping off the tee. He's outperformed that. So shout out Rory for doing that. But yes, snipe some guys from down the board. And I think at the end of the day, that's where Boots
the down the B
is
was nice. Yeah.
most powerful is snipe. We do have to say the Hojes was our worst call of the week. The Hojes let us down. The Hojes really let us down. Big time. Do we hold that against them in the Viking Cup? Do we move Rasmus Niers up above them because of this? Like, how do we assess? Because we saw generational striping from the Hojes, and then instantly they were both ejecting. They tried to battle back. Nikolai had the chance to make the cut. He didn't do it. A quick Viking Cup. What do we do? Because that was disappointing from them.
Yeah, I honestly really need to update these Viking Cup standings because the people are asking, but they definitely have to get notched down a few points. I mean, maybe Nikolai is too long off the tee, like the people in Discord were saying, because he was just nuking the ball and like what are you doing, Nico? Yeah, so handout, that was one of our worst Boots calls of all time, but there has to be a time where that's the case. So it happened, only up to go, but there were some great calls. There was no other way that anyone was getting on Bud Cauley outside of Boots. So could have cashed you a nice DFS lineup. Hopefully some guys got on him in DFS or got him top 40. So good things, bad things, but that is the way of Boots.
What I'm most happy about, two things actually I'm most happy about Boots, because this was my first time of the year getting down there, getting some reps in before the majors, getting the database queued up, was executing a Hideki fade hard.
That's rare. Actually,
I have three. I have three Vicks that I'm going to do really quick. I'm going to pat myself on the back. Fade Hideki, because we've always said a million times, you can't trust the Hideki Boots report. When you see Hideki, like, just close your eyes. You don't want to watch. He genuinely looked like seriously disheveled and out of sorts, like concerning. He looked weird. Like, he normally, even when he's not striping, he's looking crispy. He's got the Strixon on. He's looking nice. He looks serious about what he's doing. He looked like he had just pulled a sweater like out from between the seats in his car and had just woken up, and he's snap hooking it off the planet. Weird stuff from Hideki. Faded him. Success. So I'm going to Vic clap that. Michael Kim only hitting draws. I'm going to Vic clap that as well. And then infamously, you have been high on the stripes from Davey T over the last few weeks. You have been saying Davey T is generationally striping. Davey T looks great out here. Davey T is going to mix, and he has not been mixing. He's been missing the cut. He's been playing poorly. People have been hitting you with some drive-bys. They're saying Matt might not know ball when it comes to Davey T. And I wasn't, because I believe everything you say when it comes to Boots. And at the end of the day, we said this a million times. We're just telling you what happens. Like, I will say one thing is certain about Boots is what we're telling you is what's happening out there. You could take that in or take that out if you want to, but like, this is just what's happening. This Boots is what's happening out there. And Davey T was generationally strapping out there. And I was in, I said, let's do it. Let's commit to Davey T again. Mixed. Good result of the player.
Top 10. Just hang on. Just hang on. First career players win for Davey T. Shout out. And yeah, I'm telling you, what I saw from Davey T at both the Cognizant and Bay Hill was like generational stuff with tee to green wise, and it didn't pan out. But we hung on, got the T10 at a nice number if you were in. So shout out Davey T. And who knows, maybe is he in the field this week? Because why not just hang on to Davey T for a little bit longer? Just ride him all Florida.
Davy's taking.
He's not. All right. Need a break.
He probably cashed a real nice check with that top 10. He's chilling. While we were talking about all listers, I was pulling up the odds. Peter Malnati is fifth from the bottom. Actually, he's tied for last on the odds board with a variety of players at 1,000-1 jers. Defending champion Peter Malnati 1,000-1 at a course where 3 of the last 4 winners have gone back to back.
There's not many generational wealth spots. If we're just following the trends, you're telling me I can get 1,000 times my money if Peter Malnati just wins another time, like guys do around Innisbrook.
If you just took a
$20
piece of paper out
around
and walked up to a random person on the street and said, Paul Casey back to back, Sam Burns back to back, I can now give you the last year's winner at 1,000-1 odds. You walk into the grocery store and you ask somebody, would they take that? Everybody's taking it.
Everyone's taking it. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? It's Pete. vibes guy. Let's do it.
A guy we didn't. This is actually perfect because the first. Oh, this really couldn't be a more perfect odds board to talk about guys that we haven't quite talked about yet at players who are at the top of the odds board here at Valspar. Because at the top of the odds board right now at 13-1, these are DraftKings odds. These will change over time.
Oh
obviously.
My God, I'm looking at the odds.
Top of the board, Justin Thomas is 13-1. Justin Thomas, a player that we talked about. It's him versus himself. It's take all the clubs out of the bag. It's draw a painting before you hit the shot of what you're going to do. It's on 17. Can I backspin it off of the back planks and spin it back down towards the hole? Shoots 100 in the first round. Course record in the second round, including a ball into the water on 18. Birdie on Saturday on the first hole. Hits a 97-yard drive off of the tee on the second. You were on him. I told you, we were there. We talked about it on the pod. I was like, I can't. I'm good. I do it one time a year. I'm out. You said, fuck it. I'm going to do it. Do you regret it? What were your thoughts about being on him? And what do you think about him this week at Valspar?
I honestly I think to answer your last question, Valspar was the event 2 years ago that originally got me off of Justin Thomas. Like I was like, what, one last run. I was betting him so much. Try him at Valspar like 15-1, and it was, I think he double bogeyed the first hole. It's fancy shots out the gate, which he'll do here because he knows this is a weak field. He can hit as many fancy shots as he wants. Can't do it at 13. But I do. Do I regret it? No. I'd way rather lose money on JT 33-1 than he was like 18-1 like 3 weeks ago. Whatever. 33-1 bet. He shot the course record. If you would have told me that before the week started, I would have been happy. So, JT, yeah, I don't really want. We have a whole podcast on him. There's a 6-minute segment on him. Go watch that. That sums it up. It really does.
I will say, just when he was shooting the course record, he was just hitting the ball at the pin, straight at the pin. If JT just aimed down the middle and then aimed at the pin, he would probably win every tournament that Joaco's not in.
Without market. Yeah, it's something that we talk about regularly. So I agree.
I'm excited to commit to the Joaco bit because a lot of people love to talk shit about Joaco. And if he can actually get the job done for me at any point this year, we will have content
for
forever.
Days.
Xander, you said he shot
nice.
It is a good field. It's a good event. I still think, even though it is a good event, we're gonna have some random mixing because it's a putting contest and based on the stats, and a lot of these guys who are at the top of the board are not good at putting. Xander is usually pretty good at putting. He hasn't been since he's come back from injury. We had a quote in the Boots report that we heard from a caddy who had played with Xander at Bay Hill, who said Xander told him, since I've come back from injury, I'm hitting the ball really high, and I don't know why. Not words you want to hear from a 2-time major champion who's going to be near the top of the board in an event. Some people reached out in the Discord, said, should I cash out Xander? Yes, like we were out on Xander this week, hard out on Xander. Also hard out on Vic. That's another Boots Vic. Vic himself said he was striping, and we were like, he does have a more pep in his step, but he's not striping. Is he playing this week? Yeah, he is. Wow.
He is.
This is going to be a sick Boots
right now.
There's a lot of bootsable players out there, but
yeah, there is.
Xander is off the like. Xander does not know where the ball is going, but it was so sick watching him. I tweeted this on Thursday. He is attempting every shot as if he was last year's version of Xander. Like, just even if he's only hitting hooks, he's going to try to hit fades if the pin calls for a fade. He's hitting the shot that's required, which is the exact opposite of JT, who just picks the randomest shot that he can choose. Xander is choosing the proper shot every time. He just can't hit them right now, but it's kind of dope to watch him because he's having some huge misses because he's trying to hit the proper shot.
Yeah, he lost 10 strokes to the field, worst of his career. So tough. He's not going to win this week. A great fade opportunity, I think, in all markets. So, yeah, hard out on Xander.
The final, this is unbelievable. The final man at 13-1, and potentially the most unserious 3-man tied at the top of the board we've ever seen. Like Xander's not.
Yeah, you should screenshot this. Like I know because they'll probably win them. Like screenshot these three the favorites and say, is this the most unserious 3-man favorite of all time? Because they definitely could be.
I don't think they're going to win. I think JT would be the one who would scare me the most. But Xander's not unserious. He's unserious right now, but like 2-time major champ. But he is unserious in his current play. Tommy Fleetwood is permanently unserious. Tommy Fleetwood, we both considered betting Tommy last week because he was generationally striping in the practice rounds. You had a great tweet. I almost texted you about it when I heard it, that Tommy had the only birdie today on 18. Who else would have the only birdie on 18 of the day? Tommy's played good here before. He usually strikes it nicely at Valspar. But if you bet Tommy at 13-1, like, I honestly respect, because that takes some I don't even like it. It either takes the most dumbest decision of all time, or like truly the most gumption you could ever have, because you're basically burning your money right in front of you. But imagine if it actually worked out 13-1 Tommy Fleetwood.
I mean, I just really can't. On Saturday, this weekend was the perfect situation for Tommy Fleetwood to not even win. Hard mix in a tournament, and he just did the total opposite. But I will say, I said the same thing about 2023 or 2022, Matt Fitz, TPC Potomac. I said there's no better situation for Matt Fitz to play a good tournament when he was in somewhat good form. And then later on, he ended up winning a major. So it's just an exact quote I had in my head, and I do these weird things. So I said this about Tommy. This week was the best perfect situation, and he didn't do it. Maybe good things are coming forward based on that.
Are you
follow what I'm saying?
So I'm declaring Joaco wins at Quail, and you're declaring Tommy wins where? Are you declaring a Tommy major? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I'm just saying it's similar to what I like. I've seen this story go before, is what I'm saying. But I'm not declaring anything. I can see Tommy getting, I don't know. It's so infuriating, because this is the perfect conditions for Tommy to play well in, and he just didn't. I mean, T14 is not bad, but he never once ever had a chance to come to win. Never.
Yeah, I mean, if you dial up a colossal windstorm, tough conditions, -12 winning score event, you would have liked Tommy's chances, but he was never even close.
On a golf course like this, yeah.
Sam Burns is 20-1. Obviously, he plays great here. He was in the miscut parlay last week. He's been unserious for quite some time now. He has been off the planet in practice rounds. I guess if you see him striping, you'll let us know. But other than that, it's a hard out for me.
Yeah, no, nothing else to add there.
25-1 or 22-1, Willy Z. Willy Z, you were having a little bit of a moment on Saturday. You were upset. Were you right? There was some frustration that you had. You felt bad. I think it wasn't frustration.
Yeah.
You felt some regrets. You felt bad because when we walked, you got to Boots. There he is. Your guy. He's your guy. Your favorite golfer. You got to Boots maybe 2 hours before me on Tuesday, and you had seen Willy Z, because Willy Z is always an early prepper.
Always. Everyone knows it.
And you didn't like what you saw from him. And before the week, we had seen the numbers at Bay Hill where he was striping tee to green. And we talked about it at Sawgrass, that tee to green play is a key. And I was interested, but I took your word. I said, if Jers, it's his guy. If he's telling me that Zal isn't striping, that he looks uncomfortable. As I believe you said, the most uncomfortable you've ever seen a player look with the putter, which I agree. Mm-hmm. And on the broadcast, they were trying to say that his putting stroke, I'm tired of the broadcast claiming that Willy Z's putting stroke is improved, because it's not, in my opinion. It looks horrible to watch. And he then was hard mixed there on Saturday. And I was holding nothing against you. I did say that I would have probably strongly considered Zal. I wish I would have gotten my own eyes on him. But as soon as any sort of concern was developing, he made an 8 Jers. He shot 100 on the back 9, completely ejected. The putter that looks better started missing tap-ins. Just give me State of the Union. Give me how you felt about his performance. Does he have a chance this week? Are you excited to get eyes on him? What did you feel when he was mixing? Where are we at with Willy Z?
Yeah, I just regretted being so quick to write him off, because I only saw such amazing things from him Bay Hill boots, Torrey Pines boots, and I only heard amazing things from him from people on the tour that Willy Z is striping as hard as he's ever striped, and good things are coming. And then I didn't give him a hard enough look with you at players. Cause there's so much going on. We want to see everyone. And I only didn't see great things. And then but for a guy at 91, I should have given him a chance. So on Saturday when he was mixing, I was feeling really bad because I had bet him at Bay Hill. I had been so high on him early on that good things are coming soon. I've talked about it on the pod multiple times. And then I'm like, damn, a golf course that makes so much sense for him, I gave up, and he's gonna get in the mix, he did get in the mix for a little bit, which I do feel bad. And obviously, as soon as that happened, it was a hard eject for a T30. But State of the Union, I think he's fine. I mean, the ball striking is there. He's hitting it well. He hit it well. Again, it was just some really difficult conditions, and he got a bad lie on the moguls on Saturday. But I do think good things are coming. I don't think you should go to him at 22-1. I think he's going to be pretty popular here this week. But I'm excited to get eyes on him. I think this is a good golf course for him. I'm still a little bit shaken up because your favorite guys, they hurt you in some serious ways in different ways. So I'll get over it though. But yeah, Willy Z, it's good things are coming. I'll say.
Yeah, T30 is where he ended up this week. I've been on the record. I've said this before. He's not in the dog rankings. I don't think he deserves to be in the dog rankings. He has dog because he gets into the mix in big events, but usually something terrible happens, and that's what took place this week. He's not a guy who, like, I feel like when he gets into the mix, all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, Willy Z is going to win. He's not. He usually doesn't. So I'm good there. Sepp, I regret not allowing. We forgot you wanted to talk shit about Sepp on the pod last week. You were upset with the fact that he was most tipped. You thought it was wrong. You thought it was immoral almost for him to be most tipped. You were upset about that. I think you should be vindicated. He never was in the mix. He kind of started to sneak up there with a good round on Saturday. Do you want to comment on Sepp? Do you have anything you want to say?
He hit the ball well. I'm a Sepp fan. 70-1 had him at the Amex. So like no beef with Sepp. I just thought that the fact that he was most tipped was because he had a good round on Sunday at API and it was all putting. So like I just think you guys got to think a little more. That's it.
It was a good week for you from a chart perspective. The chart was largely unserious, I would say.
Yeah.
At Saw. Okay. So, but you 22-1. Yeah, I'm good. I think there's a good chance that some of these guys are going to withdraw too, to be honest. Let me just give you some of the guys in the.
You cut out. Oh no, you're back. You're back.
You got me?
You cut out when you said there's a good chance.
Okay. I was going to say there's a good chance that some of these guys withdraw. Like I think there's some guys in this field who are just not going to end up playing. But of these guys who round out the 20s, Lowry, Connors, Akshay.
Akshay will be probably most tipped. Akshay or Smalley will probably be most tipped. Akshay I could see playing well, better than Smalley. I'm not down at 28. Like I bet Akshay in the 100s, the 80s, I think, at both. Like, what did you bet him at Valera when he won?
70, 40? But I also bet him. He was like 70 at Valera.
At Rocket. And at Rocket,
too. Rocket, he was like 25. But the Rocket field
His field is much better. Yeah. He was like
way better than the Rocket field. My Smalley take for the week is...
Yeah, what's your Smalley take?
I'd also like to declare myself the Smalley whisperer because I've bet Smalley 3 times. Sanderson, when he almost won, backdoor. Mexico, when he had the greatest driving performance in the history of the PGA Tour, and he should have won. And mixing at the players at infinity to 1, 5,400 in DraftKings. I think I know Smalley. I think I've got a feel for him. I'm not going to promise you that he misses the cut this week, but I think he may go on a string of missed cuts because the level of stress and anxiety that he had to deal with this week, he's going to need some time to recover. I will be back on Smalley probably over the summer. I'm going to be taking some time away because this will set him back from a just purely wiped out from the emotion that he felt for a long time.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't really have anything to add to that. I don't think he's ever going to win on the PGA Tour. I've said that before, but he will mint you positionals.
Here's some interesting guys in the 30s. Jordan Spieth and Tom Kim. You were on Tom Kim, one of the greatest ball striking performances outside of what Joaco did in Singapore and at Adelaide. Truly generational stuff. We saw Tom Kim practicing the around the green harder than anyone's ever practiced any individual skill in a practice round. And there was reason for that. He was miserable with the short game. The putting's been terrible for quite some time. Would you go back to him here? And then the other guy was Spieth, who we saw. I think what we saw from Spieth in the practice rounds was exactly how he played on the course. Some good, some bad. Spieth has played okay here before, I think. Any interest in either of those two guys?
Tom Kim, I don't want to go from 190 to 30. I know it's a little bit of a weaker field. But I really can't trust the short game. I've been better at not chasing putters the last year and a half of golf betting, so I don't think I'm going to do that. Just bet on Tom Kim, good ball striker, bad putter, just find it in a week. I want to see some green on the putter, and Tom Kim has been so bad with the putting. I will say, I'll go back up a little bit. I really, really, really like Shane Lowry here, like a lot, and I think his Boots report is going to be huge because the Boots report at Bay Hill was he was too tired. He's going to run out of gas. He ran out of gas on the weekend. There's TGL playoffs this week. He might have to play back-to-back days. That's not going to help his case, but I need to see him. There's a chance I don't see him because he's not going from Tampa. Yeah, he'll probably withdraw. That makes too much sense. But I want, if Shane Lowry's in the field, he makes a ton of sense. He has to withdraw, actually, because he's going to be.
He needs to start. He's usually. Resting. I like to bet him in Augusta, so I need him to rest. I hope he withdraws. And I will say, yes, it is a weaker field by definition, but from a betting perspective, to your point about the guys going from 90 to 30 or from 100 to 25 or whatever, or even 150 down to 40. There's a lot of guys at the top of the board who have no chance of winning in the good fields. Guys like Colin. And there's guys like JT or Tommy's up there at the top of the odds. In those stronger fields, a lot of these guys don't deserve to have their odds come down so much just because Scottie's not here and stuff like that. Their chance of winning is actually more 60, 70, 80 to 1. That's actually where they belong. So I'm good passing on all these guys who are coming down here. It just doesn't make sense. And then Michael Kim, 35 to 1. Would you do that?
No chance. No, not even a thought.
Wanted who actually, let me see where he ended up. He started to make some putts. JT Poston finished T33, and he finally made some putts. Posty at 45 to 1. Would you bet Posty?
Posty wins there. Posty has won there before. I don't think this is the best Posty golf course. I'll give him a look, though. I'll give him a look for sure.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see what you have to say about Posty. Vic, we talked about. I think there's nothing else to say when you see the Boots report. Taylor Moore, I agree with you. He could be live. I like what we saw from Taylor Moore in the practice rounds. Where did he finish? He was playing pretty well.
Taylor Moore finished, I think, top. Yeah.
Wow.
With someone else who could win this week. Look at Rico Hoey's stats this week.
Rico Hoey.
Just look at I bet him this week. This could be a Vic.
Rico Hoey was first ball striking, second tee to green, and last of the guys who made the cut putting.
I'm not going to go into it, but I cannot tell you how many missed putts I had. Adam knows. The amount of missed putts I had inside of 5 feet was, and I used to complain about putting a lot. This was otherworldly stuff. And I'll leave it at that, but Rico Hoey striped hard.
Rico Hoey, it will totally depend on is it baked or not. Because if it's baked, we know Rico's got no chance. If it's not baked, I'd consider it. There's some interesting guys in the middle of the board here.
Where's Max McGreevy?
That's a fair question. He's on Bermuda is where he is, but his odds are 100 to 1. Oh, 100 to 1 McGreevy?
Look at his stats this week.
I'm looking. McGreevy, dude, if he would have played to his Bermuda strengths, he would have won the Players. He might have beaten Joaco. He might have beaten Joaco if he had putted to his normal Bermuda standards, because he was generational ball striking up there with Rico. Let me just read off the ball striking top of the board because it's kind of sick. From this is a funny ball striking top of the board from the players. Rico Hoey gained 11. Hoagie gained 11. McGreevy gained 11. And McGreevy is, when you go to Publix, when you go to Winn-Dixie, and you ask them who are Bermuda guys, you say Max McGreevy. Also, our take that Max, when you say Max, you're talking about McGreevy. So we can just say Max from here on out because we're speaking about, he's taken over as the Max in golf. He lost 4 putting. That's not Bermuda man behavior.
Yeah. He'll more than bounce back this week.
100 to 1 makes no sense because he wins. Now he's been
he almost won. He almost won in fucking at the Cognizant.
I'm already going to tell you right now that barring you telling me that somebody at the top of the board is striping harder than anyone's ever striped before, and even then I'd probably still not be out, I'm passing the top of the board because I like a lot of what's happening down here lower on the board. Just looking at the odds.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Which of these unserious golfers has the best chance of winning at 50 to 1? Keith Mitchell, Teagues, CY, Ben Griffin. Ben Griffin missed everything. Teagues, I think this is a fine number. He didn't hit it poorly. He didn't do anything great. He's just not there right now. But I think it's a fun number. The listeners wouldn't have heard this. The people in the Discord, the people on the site would have heard it because it happened on Wednesday. The way Teagues dapped you up was as if you and Teagues have been friends since like 3 years old. It was a serious dap.
My guy.
He
needs a Vince shirt.
Yeah, get him a Vince shirt. Well, we're out. We're sold out.
We're out.
Shirts, so that's we'll get more though.
We'll get more.
Stevie Yaggs. What a performance from Yaggs. Your comment about Yaggs, he doesn't care. He just wants to swing as hard.
At all.
Some of his misses, he saw parts of the golf course that no one since Pete Dye.
Only Max Homa saw.
Max Homa and Pete Dye are the only people who have seen the spots that Jaeger played this week.
It's so funny to watch. And he's just gearing up for Houston because he just swings. It's his approach into 11 on Saturday was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. He swung at this 3-wood so hard, and I was like, this can go anywhere. It lands like at the flag. And then his shot on 12 off the tee, it's so far right. I was like, I fucking love you, Yaggs. Like, I'll forever have a soft spot for Yaggs after hitting him and beating Scottie in Houston in the middle of the run. And just, I love the way he plays golf. And and what he tried to do at Sony was just like his so funny. I love Yaggs.
I would absolutely, if you can get eyes again on Rasmus at 60 to 1, I will go back 100%. 100.
Is Nico playing too?
Do we have both Hosier? Yeah, both Hosier in the field. So let's try to get.
Dude, there are 2 perp guys. Like, you can bet them in perp, and you'll win money.
Yeah, I like 100%. We were wrong on the Hosiers this week. I would happily go back to the Hosiers. Kurt K is 70. Like, I'd give that a look. New Bermuda specialist Jacob Bridgman is 70. Let's do random year of the week because there's some options in this field, Jers. Let me give you some of the names that are above 70 to 1 random year of the week possibilities. Harry Hall, Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, Jesper on the same week that he's defending his Singapore Classic title, Thor Olesen, Aldi Potts, EVR, Matty Schmid. Any of who's random year of the week this week? Early. I know you'll get eyes on it.
140 to 1 Cam Davis, Australian European. That's just a crazy number.
Some of these numbers down the board are crazy. I might start my card at 80.
Yeah. Dude, and
Peter Malnati won this tournament last year, Jers. Why would you bet the top of the board?
Yeah, you're right. Suber. Well, we have to have a nice Suber bit on Tuesday pod.
We will, and I would love if you could spend a few minutes with him. He probably knows a shit ton about Innisbrook. Mm-hmm. Let Subs tell the people as a local what it takes to win, and ask him about Peter Malnati's victory and if you watched last year.
Okay, no, I could probably walk up the fairway with Subs on one of the holes, so I'll try.
Billy Ho 90, interested. BSB Novak 90, interested. There was a guy. Yeah, here's the guy I wanted to bring up at 150 to 1. Carl Billups. Karl Villa. Why is Karl 150 and Rasmus Neer is 80 when Karl just wiped the floor with him down in Porto?
And if this tournament was only one round, he almost won the Players.
He won 9 holes with the Players.
Yeah, he ejected hard.
Also, is Dunn playing this tournament? Because I think we need to talk.
No,
about
we
Dunn.
have to. We have to talk about Dunlap.
We need to talk about
another
Dunn.
ball.
He's not playing.
This was a crazy week because we had like some of our worst and best calls, like this week.
I think our boots for Players was what you would expect a Players boots to be. It like such a volatile course. We had some generationally good calls and some generationally bad calls. But in retrospect,
that's Sawgrass.
That's TPC Saw. I would give it like a B-ish boots effort. And I do think it's just like that's Saw. That's Saw.
We're close to getting to, which is one of the coming after a year ago, and it's only because of one reason. Dunn's career is in jeopardy if this girl stays in the picture. The driver is gone.
We need to talk about it because since she's entered the picture, the majors Jack's record is safe right now from Dunn. It's not, there's other players who will be taking. Karl's going to threaten it, obviously, but this can't continue. Something has to change because Dunn hits at OB like 8 times around.
Yeah.
And then he's generational at everything else. But you look at, if you did a timeline and you put a dot on the timeline when things changed.
It's between her and then me being at all these practice rounds. I don't know how he can handle like hitting any golf shots. I don't know.
I'm really, really concerned. Really concerned. Cheers. Yeah. Eric Cole's 190 to 1. Eric Cole used to be like minus 300 at these events.
Yeah, but he can. It's a great top 20 bet. You'll probably get like 5 to 1 on it. So yeah, down for that. But he can't win. He's like Smalley.
Dude, this down the board, Nico Etch 200. This is the Matt McCarty coming off one of the greatest approach performances, at least for one round, in the history of the game. This honestly may be the best odds board I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it really it honestly might be because you have
McCarty striped this week.
No, this is the best odds board I've ever seen because when you have Justin Thomas, Xander Schauffele in the worst form of his life, and Tommy Fleetwood at 13 to 1, the opportunities down the B are truly generational. And then you have Sam Burns, who can't keep it on the planet. This may be the best down the board opportunity ever. Malnati won this tournament last year, Jers.
The excitement levels are really, really percolating. I am getting there.
The ROI police will be upset because I might bet 30 guys on a 10x card.
Yeah, literally plug it in. Plug it into your calculator.
Get your Excel sheets out and crunch the numbers because Jers and I might bet half the field this week, but it'll be you've increased your multiple too.
People are saying it.
People are saying it. There's rumors that the multiple's going up. It's going to be a great week, Jers. I honestly, because I've been moving, I had to switch where I was to do this pod. I like Rory. I'm not a Rory guy, so I wasn't like thrilled that Rory is probably going to win the Players. But I now leave this 90 minutes optimistic about the Valspar because it really might be the best odding boards I've ever seen. And we have this DP in Singapore. Jesper's won there. What's the key to success at the Singapore Classic this week?
I think you think it's more bombers, but I think you really gotta have a stripe like hard on approach, hit fairways and stripe hard with your mid to long irons. Looking at leaderboards, that's kind of guys who fit that profile. But maybe you think you could bomb your to success. I think I'm gonna go towards more approach players than anything else.
Cheers! It was great seeing you down there at TPC Saw. It was a fun week of boots. It was a fun watch. It was a roller coaster of watch. I think it was one of my better cards, honestly, of having multiple like guys mixing. This year, I was very happy with my card overall, even though it didn't work out. I feel like I'm seeing the board well. I really want to hit one on the DP this week, honestly, more than I want to hit one on the
You're also
PGA
seeing the
Tour.
Bermuda greens nice too. You're seeing the board well. You're seeing the Bermuda greens nice. Generational green raider you are. So hype to get back out there with you.
Yeah, I'm going to be out west now for a while. I will say, waking up this morning to watch the players at normally DP World Tour times, I was so thrown off. I was like, where are the British announcers? Where's Iona out on the course? What is going on? Why aren't we in Kenya? It was weird being up that early to watch the PGA Tour. I don't like it. I'm worried if I'm mixing in Singapore, how I'm going to be able to keep track of it. But we'll get it figured out. It'll be up on the site. I believe the LPGA is back. No, it's not back yet. Is it next week? Is it off for 2 weeks?
I think it's one more week. I think it's about 1 more week.
Well, Riss will let us know.
Check the board.
And we'll go from there. It'll obviously be up on the site. We appreciate everybody who's listened in, and we wish everybody a great watch of the final round. We'll find out who wins the players. We'll talk a little bit more about the playoff, I'm sure, on the Boots Report on Tuesday night. Enjoy Innisbrook. Who's going to win the TGL playoffs?
Oh, I think I have to go with my Bay, because I became a Bay fan. Partly hanging with you and partly because they invited me to their party. So shout out to Bay. And Wyndham obviously withdrew to prep for this playoffs. And Manu didn't want to win here when he could win the TGL, just saving it all. Obviously, Shane was tired at the API. So the Bay is locked in for this week.
The flow chart on Minwoo has never been more accurate than it is right in this moment.
No, it's just never. Yeah, he never had a chance.
All right, Jers. Good stuff. Talk to you later.